Well, ooh, wait, manual focus, autofocus, here we are. Well, I'm back in North Berwick. It's a bit of a windy day. It's pleasant, it's dry. It was supposed to be raining most of today. There's still a slight chance of that, but I thought, well, let's just get out, head along the coast and see what we can find. No real plan at all, as usual kind of MO in that respect. Just decided to pull up in North Berwick, parked the car up, and I've just got the camera and going to have a little wander around. Going to head down to the harbour, thinking it is in the middle of the day, so it's actually quite a nice light considering the time of day it is, but I'm thinking of a minimalistic approach, high key, black and whites, and yeah, see what we can find. Don't know if you can see over my shoulder there, but someone's put their washing out there. Certainly a good day for drying clothes, but there's a risk of losing them to the sea there. But I found this possible composition here, which is just, unfortunately there's a car there, so I was thinking of maybe trying to cut that car off and just go right along the wall up to the harbour. Long exposure so we get the movement of the water, and some of the backdrop islands as well. But just a quick chat about what I'm actually doing here. It's firing away at the moment. I've got it on Rakuten. I've tried the little stopper, and that just wasn't enough really to give me a long exposure of what I was after. So I moved on to the big stopper, and I've tried a couple of shots there without a polarizer, and I've decided to put a polarizer on as well, just to see what the difference was, just to see if it would actually bring some of that kind of reddish colour from the buildings itself brought back in, as well as you know, do something a wee bit more interesting with the sky. And I said earlier on I'm wanting to do some minimal black and whites. Well, this is quite minimal, but the colours I'm getting are really nice. The sun that's hitting the red brick really playing off nice against the turquoise water. Well, it's always worthwhile a little stop in North Berwick. As you know, I've done quite a few videos here. I do love the place. Gorgeous. Yeah, we managed to get quite a few shots I was happy with. Something a wee bit different. It's hard, photographers know, if you spend time at the same place for a long period or revisit them quite frequently, it takes a lot of effort and thought to really come up with some different ideas and different subjects, because you end up just revisiting the same setup over and over again. So I think I did okay there. I had a look at some different areas. I actually explored a wee bit some new places around about the harbour. So that's always an easy trick, just to, you know, to ignore the normal areas you go to take photographs and actually explore some new parts of wherever you are. Yes, I am at Belhaven, and I got here and the heavens opened, so I've been sitting in my car for the past 10-15 minutes. I think that is pretty much the rain stopped, so I'm going to venture out now. And I just don't even want it slightly raining, because this is going to be a long exposure, and long exposures means you have to put you know, a filter pretty much a blackout filter in the front of the lens and have it open for a long period of time, hence the long exposure. But the danger there is if there's any droplets of moisture, rain still in the air, it can easily go onto the filter that's a large glass filter at the front of your camera. Now if that happens, then it gets kind of, you know, warped, horrible kind of, you know, water droplet effect. Sometimes it could be quite nice, but not in a situation like this where you want it like a kind of undisturbed image and as clean an image as possible. Hence the long exposure to flatten out the ripples in the sea, so you really are, the structure, which in this case is the bridge, is just prominent, standalone, and there might be a possibility of having the bash rock in the background as well, but it just depends, and see how it comes together when I actually find a place to position myself. So that's the plan. That's why I'm really just kind of holding off, and hopefully this blue sky continues to kind of cover over us and the clouds scoot off that way. So there's just no danger of any water droplets going onto the filter at the front. The sun is shining. Yeah, I think it's going to be dry enough for this. The sun is out. I'm not too concerned about it being too bright or anything like that, because as I said, it's going to be a long exposure. It's still very harsh lighting, so not ideal for any kind of interest aspect of what the light is doing. So I mean, it might even be, I said black and bright, I said black and white before, and looking in the back of the camera, the colours were gorgeous. So I think what we'll do, we'll just set up, go for the long exposure. The sun is hitting the bash rock at the back as well. Whether I can get that in the shot, not too sure, but I'll try. Whether I want that in the shot, I don't know either. Sometimes it's a bit too, you know, what are you wanting to look at? You want to have a look at the bridge, or you want to have a look at the bash rock? It can be a bit too busy, and I am trying to do this minimalistic side of things. So let's have a wee look and find out where I can set up. So I'm now currently looking around for other compositions. Same idea with the long exposure with the bridge, but slightly different kind of foreground. And they've got this long grass that's here. So we might use this. The wind is blowing quite a bit, so it'd be nice maybe if I position the camera behind that with this in the foreground. Again, a bit of movement. Long exposure wise, and still having the bridge to nowhere as the main point of focus. Raining again, so I'm shielding, rain's coming from behind, as you can probably see, because it's covering this lens. Sorry, apologies, but I'm shielding my camera from the rain that's coming in just to get the shot. Then I'm going to dive back into the car. Chaos, but hey ho. Well, everything got soaked. But I hope I managed to shield the camera, well, not so much the camera, but the filter at the front during the long exposure from the rain, so it didn't get all water dropletty and ruin the shot. But it was all just a bit of last minute. I was just setting up, rain started coming down, so you know, I'm just even uncertain if I managed to get the focus, to be honest. In that should be okay. I was shooting at f11, so there's a. But yeah, it's just one of those kind of strange days. It's absolutely gorgeous, blue sky, and there is rain clouds just dotted around, which are gorgeous. They're absolutely fantastic to look at because they've got that kind of heavy grey about them. So I think we'll finish off here. I'm going to head back round the coast and maybe try and get some coastal shots, as I was saying. So we'll see if that's any. See what the weather's like when we go around there, if it's any good. So I have parked up just opposite Tyningham, and this little village just on the coast, the east coast, in between North Berwick where I was and Dunbar, where the bridge to nowhere is. So this is me heading back into Edinburgh, but I thought I'd just stop off here because the sun's come out again. Still threatening with a wee bit of showers passing through, but nothing too extreme. And this beautiful forest pathway takes you down to the beach, and some really nice, kind of rugged coastal line areas at the end here. Obviously beyond the beach it goes quite rocky either side, so I'm just going to have a little wander around here and see what we can find, see if there's any possibilities. Hope the rain stays away. And yeah, I've visited this place quite a few times in the past, and I actually took one of my favourite shots, which is, I'll put it up now. I took that years and years and years ago. I was just kind of new to photography there, and yeah, I was just experimenting with long exposures, experimenting with really black and whites, as far as I was concerned. And I still think to this day I have this thought process of black and white has to be black and white, not grey and grey. So I went through a process of really bringing the blacks down and brightening the whites. And that shot was taken years and years ago, so it'd be quite nice to revisit that area. And I'm sure, if I can recall rightly, it is round here. You can access it this way. So I might stop off there. It all depends what the water's doing. I think it was retreating when I was at the bridge, so it might not be great. And I really, as I said, that shot I just showed you was years ago, and I cannot remember if that was the tide fully in or fully out. Really have no idea. I just stumbled across that kind of avenue, rock avenue, with the Bash Rock at the far end of it, which you can kind of make out. But it'd be quite nice to go back there and see if I could recreate it. The light is better now, so it might be a similar kind of shot, but not black and white. Oh, I've gone very, very, very overexposed. It's better. Just to walk you through what I'm doing here, to be honest, I actually don't know. Where I was before, when I was talking about that previous shot, was actually down here. And the shot was through those rocks onto the Bash Rock. I was using a very wide angle at the time, so the Bash Rock itself seemed quite far away, but on my route here I noticed these little purple flowers, and just beyond that you've still got that same kind of channel, although it's not as obvious because we're higher above the rocks, so you actually don't get the full benefit of that leading line of the two rocks coming towards the Bash Rock itself. But I thought, let's have a go at shooting through the purple flowers with the backdrop being the Bash Rock, and then we can maybe venture down and try some different ideas. But the rains are, I don't know if you can make it out behind me. It's just not looking very promising. Looks like I'm going to get drenched. So I'm going to quickly get ahead with this. It might be quite nice if that rain passes by, for two reasons. I don't get soaked, and it may make the whole scene dramatic. But we'll see. First things first, I have to obviously, again, three bracketing and focus stacking, because the flowers are like a metre in front of my camera and the Bash Rock is miles away. So, back at that. We've lost the Bash Rock because of the rain. Gone. Completely gone. And we're starting to get it a bit as well. Just unfortunate. Thankfully I got the initial shot off, but the plan was to recompose higher up, looking through the channel onto the Bash Rock, which, believe it or not, is there. But it's vanished, it's gone. The rain. And, so back in the car again. As you can probably tell, I am absolutely drenched again. But it's typical, the minute I get back to my car, sun comes out. Anyway, I'm going to call it a day. That last bunch of shots, I have no idea, because the rain was just coming in waves, and it was one of those setups where you really need to take quite a while. You need to take your time. I was focus stacking. I was you know, in the concept of doing a pano. I was trying to make sure that you know, the bracketing was right as well, because there was quite a lot of fluctuation from taking the pictures of the little flowers, the purple flowers in the foreground, to the, you know, the brighter skies and the distant Bash Rock. So it wasn't easy, and I rushed it. I'll be honest with you, I couldn't wait, because I was, you know, literally trying my best to shield the lens. There was no filters or anything involved, so it made it a wee bit easier, but it was, you know, then pivoting back and then trying to pan, it wasn't good. You can rush photos if you get a fantastic sky, and the light is just working, and it's pretty much, you've got your frame, you've got everything ready to rock and roll, and you press the shutter. Great, that's fine, and I can do that, and I can pack up, you know, within minutes, and then head off to the next one. But when you're really, you know, you're working hard mentally and physically trying to get everything just right, you really don't want to be rushed, and I was rushed there just because the weather was not favourable. So I have no idea. You might not be seeing any of these photos, so apologies. But if they did work out, then cool, nice one. Here they are. To the past couple of videos, I have absolutely forgotten, or not even bothered, to sign off, to say thanks, to say hope you enjoyed, all that kind of thing. It's just because, yeah, you know, I pack my stuff away and then jump in the car and then head back home without, you know, giving the latter stages of the video a second thought. But I've remembered this time, because I've got my camera in the car and, you know, explaining why I had to call it a day. So, but I'm going to sign off properly now. So I do hope you enjoyed that. It was great. I had a good time exploring some little areas I have never been before, and going back to familiar places I'd been for quite a long time ago. So as always, please like and subscribe, share, thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever. It's fine with me. If you think there's improvements, if you think there's other places I should have gone, if you don't like the photos, if you do like the photos, all that kind of stuff. Interaction's the main thing. And thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you all on the next video. See ya.